we're really pleased with some of the guys' return. Sean Wick, I thought, really looked good today. And, a back and forth battle for an old defensive coach, probably more points than what I would like, but that makes for a certainly competitive contest. We did have a couple of injuries today. On a negative note, Rob Priester had a concussion. I think he wasn't blacked out, but pretty significant one. It'll be a while for him to come back. Marcus Epps, as you'll notice, had some back issues. I don't think it'll be anything long-term. Nathan Patrick did something to his leg. Really encouraged about some of the play by some of our younger players. C.J. Johnson, guy who had redshirted last year, really showed some good things. Josh Allen, quarterback, you can see he's got a lot of ability, but he's a little bit too much of a gunslinger right now. I think we need to reel him back, but he's got some good ability. And it was great to see Andrew Wingard out here. Carl Granderson making some plays. So overall, we're pleased with the progress we made this spring. So questions?
Craig, I'm sure you look at the film. Is Josh your starter going into camp? Are you going to wait on that, or where do you stand there?
What? Unless I see something on film that would show otherwise, he's going to be. But
right.
I'm not going to name him now, or we're not going to name him now. But I think just the body of work that he did this spring, he certainly can improve. I do want to make note, though. I think Nick has improved from last year. I thought he was more confident with his reads today. His delivery's better, and our upper units caught the ball well. I was disappointed in some of our younger receivers, some of the backup players. There were some flat drops, but I thought our older players caught the ball well.
You mentioned Josh being a gunslinger. How do you temper that back a little bit?
Well, it's easier to say "whoa" than "giddy up." He's got a lot of confidence, and that's good. But we've also got to recognize, you run to the one side of the field and throw. He's got great arm strength. I mean, outstanding arm strength, and I think sometimes he's got to recognize just because he can throw it that long, you got to make sure you're throwing it to the guys in the right jersey. And so the one throw, I was disappointed in, but I don't want to throw a bunch of water on his performance. There's some really good stuff that he does. He's got really good pocket presence. He's got good mobility, and he's got a really strong arm. So Coach Vegan is working with him. We run a pro-style offense, and there's a lot of moving parts, and so we're pleased with his progress.
Coach, how much can you gain from a spring game, and do you have to always remind yourself to temper either your enthusiasm for something good on the field or maybe reel it back if you see something that's not so good?
Well, when you're a head coach for the many years I have, you kind of learn that. What you really try to do is, there's no replication for a game experience, and while this is not a regular game, there's a game-like feel. And so for our players to be out there without coaches on the field, with officials, and seeing who can make plays when normally the lights would be on, that's really important. There's always give and take on the score and how much the ball moves or doesn't move. And I've learned through the years to be tempered on that. But the performance that you see, there's a reason why Andrew Wingard had two interceptions today. That just doesn't happen by chance. You see that. And so I think those are good things.
How about Sean Wick's performance? Good to see him back out there kind of towards his usual self, old self?
It was great to see him out there. And when we're good, and Brian did not play today, when we're really talented, we've got two really talented runners, and it's a 1-2 punch. And so, Sean's come back from the concussion from last year. He's got a great attitude, and it was great to see him. I thought Milo Hall did some good things today, too. And so we're encouraged about that.
Coach, on the other side of the coin, is run defense a concern for you?
Yeah, and like I said, I was an old defensive coach, and so some of the runs that popped, particularly some of the backside runs that came out, the gaps were concerns. I thought our tackling was okay, but maybe some things at the point of attack, the line of scrimmage, a little bit concerned about that. And we knew we were light in the britches. I mean, our defensive line is still light, and so we're going to have to do some things to shore that up.
Craig, do you like Milo and Nico? Is that kind of the race for the number three back going into fall camp, or what do you think?
No,
where does that stand?
That's how we see it. And right now, both of them will do some good things. However, I thought today, from the naked eye, I thought Milo really did some nice things competing.
You said you wanted a competitive game.
Mm-hmm.
You certainly got that.
We got a competitive game. Yeah. What we've done all spring is, you guys been around. We've raised the bar as far as competition. I mean, heck, one day in practice, the winner, we kept score. The winner got steaks, and the losers got hot dogs and beans. And our guys they're emerging to understand you got to play the game with a sharp sword. And everything we're doing is try to improve our competitiveness. And certainly today was a great match. And you know, some teams got to win, some teams got to lose. What was bad, the winning field goal was actually kicked by a guy that was on the Brown, and he was also a receiver, and he got a lot of grief on that one. And to show you, I coached the kickers, and that guy, when I worked with him full time, he wasn't very good, and he's been out there running receiver, and shows you my value as a coach.
Craig, do you know what the status with Conway is? Is he going to stay with you in football, or do you have to talk with Coach Edwards, or what's?
Coach Edwards and I got a really good rapport and relationship. You know, Alan was gracious, and Austin wants to try it. You know, he's not a fish out of water. And sometimes you see a basketball player that thinks they're a football player, and they're really not, or vice versa. You know, I think Austin sees himself as a football player, but Austin and I are going to have a good conversation, and I'm going to run that all through Alan. We certainly appreciate his efforts out here today, and he showed a couple good things.
Coach, Andrew Wiggins seems to have made strides from last season to this season. What have you liked from his season?
Well, he has not been complacent. He put on 15 pounds, and a lot of our players have put on 15 pounds. And I want to make note, the Cowboy Joe Club going out, and the people that have raised those funds, and then with the matching funds, that's what you're seeing. Guys are getting bigger and stronger. And Andrew's now 205. He'll be probably 210. He runs well. He's got great instincts. He's an outstanding football player, and he is not complacent. He works hard, and what he does, he lifts everybody else up around him. And so we're going to lean heavily on him next year.
From last spring to this